G'day guys and welcome to another episode of Idle Talking with Nollsie. Today we're speaking to a guy that I've known for over 20 years who was on the very first Australian Idol season with me. I'd like to introduce my producer Tim Holland. Mate, who have we got on the panel today?
We've got the great Rob Millsy.
Hey, Millsy. How you going, buddy?
Hey guys. You can actually say Your Highness, Your Majesty, as I'm now the King of Moomba. I don't know if you guys know about this, but in Melbourne we have a festival every year, the Moomba Festival.
Yeah, I do
I've been anointed the King of Moomba. So just for this podcast and going forward, Your Highness, Your Majesty, my liege, also
my liege, okay. I love it. How you been, mate? Good?
Mate, really good. I've been flat out at the moment.
Yep.
Been doing rehearsals, and we've just opened it up for Anne Juliet the musical. I'm playing William Shakespeare.
Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's great. It goes a while too, that one, yeah?
Yeah, mate, we'll be in Melbourne for quite some time. So if you can get down to Melbourne, come see the show. It's so funny. The guy who wrote, one of the writers from Schitt's Creek, wrote it.
Yep.
So the writing is very good. The music is all Max Martin. And
really?
know Max Martin.
Yeah,
he's the guy who wrote every pop song in the last 30 years. So yeah, all his songs are in it. So yeah, I'm absolutely rapt to be a part of it.
Oh, beauty. Awesome, mate. So we're just going to touch a little bit on obviously after the show and during the show and all those things that are pretty hard to remember these days, 20 years down the track. But
I've got a blackout period from like 2003 to 2007. So cool.
We're going to talk about that today. Millsy, what was your first impression of Shannon when you first met him?
When I first met Shannon, there was a strong brotherly love vibe straight away.
Yeah.
There was something about I gravitated towards Shannon that we had sort of a bit of a crew going when we in that top 100, I think it was. There was me, there was Yolanda, there was Little Yo, there was Christy Whelan, there was
Clee was in there too, yeah.
Clee was in there.
Yeah.
Who else we had? Axel, he was with us.
Axel was there, yeah.
Stu. There's just a bunch of I don't know, kind of. I just want to say the most laid back, authentic people that sort of gravitated towards each other.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Guy as well. He's also super authentic and lovely as well. But we ended up just all hanging out together. I remember just really gravitating towards Nollsie as kind of like an older brother figure.
Yeah.
It's the first time I'd ever been been on a plane before. First time that I'd really gone anywhere really as a kid. And also as a pub rock singing bloke, Shan was also doing the same thing. He was also touring around pubs and stuff similar to me. So we sort of gravitated towards each other that way, I think.
Yeah, I think we had footy in common as well. We both I was still playing then, and you were too, I suppose, Millsy as well. And we were both big fans of AFL. So we sort of that was a common ground for both of us that made us gravitate towards each other. And plus, you're just young knockabout blokes. I was a bit older than you, mate. So that definitely. The older brother thing was involved for sure, but we sort of all hung out together and early in the group, a group within the group, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, didn't mind a beer, didn't mind a laugh. I think it was didn't take ourselves too seriously. I think that was part of it as well. Took everything that we did seriously, but didn't take ourselves too seriously.
Yeah, and I think that was a really refreshing thing to come across in that environment because it was very, very high pressure situation. They were sort of continuously throwing us curveballs to see how we'd react and see, how we'd take it on board and move through it. So I think having that little bit of a chance to get in between takes and in between performances to just talk about the footy or even have a beer in the afternoon or something like that was really, really great to have in amongst all the insanity, which was the show, I suppose.
Learn these songs. Learn these dance moves. Dance moves.
Dance moves. What? It's a singing competition. I was watching this show the other day, and a couple of kids they play guitar. So when they were singing, they really had a lot of trouble trying to occupy this left hand. And I couldn't work it out, but I copped it off Dicko for weeks on end about not being able to dance. And I kept thinking, when I'm in the pub performing, I'm so much more comfortable. And I was trying to work out what the hell was going on. And I worked it out after a while that my left hand was always holding the mic stand. So you could just lean on it, you could hold it out in any way sort of thing, but it had that hand occupied. So whenever you didn't have a mic stand, you started doing these sorts of things, and this weird.
Magneto. Magneto.
It was absolutely
like the evil emperor from Star Wars.
Oh no, because it was something very
X-Men.
foreign. It looked really, really weird, and I sort of couldn't help but agree with Dicko about it. But I didn't know what the hell was going on. And then after a while, I worked out that I normally had a mic stand in that hand, and then down towards the end, I said, "Can I have a mic stand?" And it sort of really liberated me after that, because it started to get on my mind. I think my brother snuck into Dicko's dressing room and said, "Enough about the dancing, mate." And he said, "What?" And he said, "You've said it 3 weeks in a row. If that's all you got, then get something new, because he doesn't deserve it. But you keep going back to that because it's the only thing he can pick on." He went, "Well, he can't dance." He went, "We know. You've told us 3 weeks in a row." So it was very, very, very interesting.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Did any of your family members attack judges, Millsy?
No, I had no heavies. No heavies in my family. My brother's a little bit heavy, but he's not a heavy, if you know what I mean.
Oh, so mate, what?
No, they love it. They love it when someone else rips into me. So that's.
Dicko was saying the same thing the other week about having to have a thick skin in his family, mate. So immediately after the show, obviously, I was saying this yesterday. We didn't really have a clue what was happening outside the house with the general public, how people were getting behind the show, how many people were watching, and just how it sort of captured so many people in the viewing public around that time. How was it when you came out, and what were some of the challenges after Post Idol?
Oh, mate, I felt like I was okay. But like most blokes probably at that age, we haven't really processed who we are as people, or don't really have a lot of emotional intelligence and not a lot of self-awareness. So I was thrust into the sort of limelight. I remember going up to the Gold Coast with Levi for the Indie. Channel 10 was covering the Indie weekend up there. I was like, yeah, I'll go for sure. Had a great time. I was on the beers with Levi. We had an awesome time. We went to Cavill Avenue that night. I had a full-blown panic attack. This is before phones had cameras or anything. So people just with cameras, I was getting grabbed and headlocked and like, oh, let's get a photo. Like it was so full on. I had full-on panic. Yeah, mate, I had a full-on panic attack and ran into someone's limousine. Actually, I just jumped in this car. I said, "Can you please just give me a lift to my hotel? I'll pay you. I'm having a bit of a panic attack."
Yeah.
I remember they gave me a lift, and Levi said, "You're all right." I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And I wasn't. I really wasn't. I was having a freak out, and emotions were bubbling up right to the surface. I went to my hotel room, and the door was open, and started bringing it down to a bit of a spot already. But I had that split second of like, you don't have to have all this crazy in your life, Rob. This split second feeling of like you could run to the balcony and just jump off.
Yeah, right.
Like that. Yeah. It was a feeling, but I ran to the door, I just slammed it shut.
Yeah.
And I quickly called my brother, and I didn't tell him what had happened, or I just needed to hear a familiar voice. And it took a few years, maybe 5 or 6, maybe even 10 years before I told my brother that. Not that he saved my life, but just hearing his voice.
Yep.
And I still get pretty emotional about it. Like,
I can imagine.
I think that I got to the point of, because I had no idea who I was as a person, really.
Yeah.
And everyone else seemed to have this idea of who I was, and it all was happening so fast.
Yeah.
It was a lot of anxiety and excitement, adrenaline, all these things, fueled with a bit of alcohol, I'm sure, as well. But look, I'm glad that.
A massive thing to take in, and also, like I said before, we were unaware of the magnitude of it inside the house, and it just kept building and building and building. Obviously, to the steps of the Opera House, you know what I mean? So to be thrust out of that house, which was a pretty protected environment, no one was allowed in, although I think you snuck a few people in, didn't you, mate?
I snuck a few there.
So much for no one in and no one out. There's a little bit of in and out going on there.
There was the back fence and a back door, which I worked out early on.
Early on in the piece, yeah, absolutely. But it's crazy how being just dropped in headfirst into a situation like this, going from a social sort of guy, which you always were in that before it, but into this total world of everybody knows your name, and everyone's got an opinion on what they think you are, because it was just what the show generated you to be as. So It was very difficult.
Shane, did you feel like at the time you had just being older, like an older guy, you had a bit more of a sense of self? Like you'd gone through a bit of stuff with your family and up to then as well, but you still had older brothers who sort of shaped you and worked out who you were. But you had, I would say, more of an idea of who you were as a person compared to me, and that just comes with age.
Yeah, you were a kid though, mate. How old were you? Like
21.
21. You know, I was 27 with sort of 2 kids, so it was a lot different in that way, you know. But and they also, you know, the whole thing cashed in off the larrikin and the party boy type vibe, you know, around you too, just because you're outgoing and got a great personality, you know what I mean? So I think you felt maybe you had to live up to that a little bit too, which was a little bit obviously difficult to feel.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was fun. It was fun. It was fun at the time. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But it wasn't until like I was like, everyone just still had this idea of who I was, and I was like, oh, that's actually not who I am. I'm like just a party boy. I actually do work really hard, and I do love. So like I love other things other than partying. I love art. Books,
of
music.
course, absolutely, because
hard work.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think, you know, having a couple of big moments, media moments too, which you did during that time too, or just put fuel on the fire a little bit, I suppose, with it. You know what I mean? So it's always hard to try and differentiate from that and get your own message out there and your own sort of self out there and who you are and what you're about.
I remember during the show, during the filming, when I didn't turn up to the rehearsal and they made a massive deal. Like, where are you? Like, I actually don't know where I am.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember one night because I was saying yesterday on the Sunday night, because it was so pressurised, the whole week had been leading up to that Sunday night performance, and that Sunday night performance would make or break you, you know what I mean? And so it all boiled down to 90 seconds, all the work, the whole journey, you know, each week would boil down to 90 seconds, and if you stuffed it in any way, it could be your undoing sort of thing. So we'd sort of, after each Sunday night, we'd all sort of go and let off a bit of steam, and sometimes a bit more steam than others. And I think, we were somewhere and someone said, he's not real well in the toilet cubicle. I think he's throwing up or something. And my brother-in-law grabbed you and we couldn't find you, and we're all leaving. And I remember Boo, big shout out to Boo Boo out there, Brett, and he said, look, I've got him, he's all right. And Adam helped out too, my other brother, because they were sort of always there in the audience, so they'd come out with us after, which was great because they look after us a fair bit too.
They were chaperoning. It was good.
Yeah, Boo said, I'll put him in the back of the car and drive him up to Newcastle and drop him off, because the next day was the results day. So we had to do the whole full dress rehearsal, learn the song, learn the choreography and all that, and the group song to perform that night. And then all of a sudden the eviction straight after that. So I said, no, you can't do that to him, mate. Poor little bugger.
I don't know where I ended up. Yeah. It wasn't Newcastle.
No. It wasn't where you were supposed to be.
It was a lovely warm bed. Let's just say that. It was a lovely warm bed.
I bet it was. Mate, have you checked out this season at all? I know you're very busy working six nights a week now. You're doing.
Yeah, I'm back in the theatre. I've been rehearsing flat out like every day. I've had only Mondays off, so I've seen a tiny bit of it. I have not seen the last couple of weeks.
Yeah,
I saw early on with the auditions, and it was great to see some people who've never sung in front of anyone before, standing up in front of people going, well, I've never done this. So, and I know that, you know that feeling of like meeting those people.
Yep.
I've never sung in front of a TV camera, or I love that nervous energy that I got to witness, that, that's still so heartwarming, I suppose, when they, when you find that voice, or they hear that, or they sing that chorus for the first time, and people go, wow, it's pretty spectacular. But I haven't watched a whole lot of it since they've got into the top. They're a top 12 now already, are they?
Yeah, top 12 now. Top 10 now, I think, as of this week. So, yeah.
Have you been enjoying it?
Mate, I've been watching it, most of it. Yeah, I've had a couple of times I've been travelling, which I've missed it, but I've had to catch up. But yeah, it dead set. I thought when I first watched it back, the music itself at the very start of the show would make me go, because that's all you ever heard, like 15 times in rehearsal through the day. Dang. But I've been quite enjoying it, mate. I think just remembering so vividly how all the kids feel and how nerve-wracking it was, to sing in front of these three people that were legends that you'd only ever heard of before, and never actually never met or anything like that. So it was just singing in front of very, very important strangers, if you know what I mean. So it's all the same for these kids this time, mate, and it's great to see actually, because I think the show itself's a great concept. The kids get to pick their own songs most of the time. That's related to me, of course. Then they give you a song. That's a whole other thing.
All right, well, have we unpacked that yet on the podcast? Have we unpacked that yet?
Yes. Last episode we did touch on that.
I didn't see that,
mate. What advice would you give any people who are thinking about competing or thinking about going on any of these shows moving forward?
Oh, look, mate, I think my advice to anyone, especially kids going forward, is just having a good sense of self. Is just trying to work out who you are as a person, and that means I say to my brother with their kids, get them into acting, get them into drama, not to become actors or dramaturgs or anything like that, but just become just more aware of who they are as a person.
Yep.
I think the quicker that you can work that out, the easier that your life becomes.
Yeah.
Instead of fumbling around, how do I feel about this thing? Like I do know how I feel about this. I do know what I stand for. I do know what I like, what sort of music. And with your song choices, find something that resonates with you. Find something that when you sing it, you feel excited or you get goosebumps when, there's something about the story that you can relate to. I always say to kids, don't sing songs about a woman who's been married, who's having a breakup. Like you're 12. That hasn't happened to you.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, find a song that you love. Like I think we always gravitate to someone who's passionate about something. So if you're passionate about rock music or rap music or whatever it is, do that. That's your thing. Like and also just practice. Like the more that you practice, the luckier that you get, the easier that it becomes. Sing in front of your parents, sing in front of your mates. Like the more times that you do gigs, the easier that it becomes. I think you and I did well. Not only I think we're great singers, great performers, but we had that experience with like years and years of like how many hours have we sung in pubs before we sang on television? It was still nerve wracking, but we've got the hours up of actually performing in front of people. We know how to that's what a crowd feels like, or that's what that's what a microphone feels like.
I think
all that stuff.
Getting to know your voice too is another massive one. So you're going into it with a bit of an idea of your craft because you've sang so much. So it helps with the experience of picking songs and finding songs which have the right range and all that sort of thing. So you're going into it going, all I got to do is remember the words because I know I'll hit the notes.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Also, I'm a massive believer, and I think that's maybe why I've gravitated towards musical theatre. After Idol is storytelling. Like there's even in a pub rock song or a pop song, there's a story there. There's a real story. So you could have the best voice, but if you're not telling the story that's in the verse or the chorus, you're always trying to solve a problem or tell someone something with a song.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tap into what that song's about. Tell the story, and that will help your performance no end.
Yeah, mate. So well, music is always something that you wanted to do down the track, because I suppose that all came after the show, the musical side of stuff, the musical theatre. Yeah.
I mean, look, I got my first lead role in grade prep. I was the gingerbread man, the lead role. So look, it was destined. It was always destined. I think one song that you sang over and over again: "Run, run, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me on the gingerbread man." But look, it's a lead role. It's a lead role.
Still got it, mate. Still got it. We'll have to reprise that character again down the track sometime.
I thought I was going to get the part of the tree, but I ended up getting the gingerbread.
Yeah.
I think it's once again like storytelling. So with any kind of acting, I did drama all through high school, year 10, year 11. I actually dropped out of drama in year 12 because I didn't think I was good. I was too scared to perform in front of everyone. So I did my year 12 music at Box Hill and drama, but I dropped out year 12. I got a D+ for my singing exam in year 12. And I remember going, that's not very good. Why did that happen? I realized I didn't practice.
Yeah.
Didn't practice the songs properly. I didn't really commit to it.
Yep.
So that was kind of like a turning point for me as well. Like, do you want to do this? Like, if you want to do it, you got to practice. You got to put the work in.
Absolutely.
And as far as musicals, mate, I fell into it a little bit. I auditioned for Grease, the Arena Spectacular, with one of my idols was in it, John Farnham, like the voice, trying to understand it. Yeah, Nat Bass was in it, Magda Zubanski, and a bunch of incredibly gifted and talented musical theatre performers. Kelly Abbey was the choreographer. I remember meeting all these kids going, wow, they've got this incredible, like, work hard, party hard ethic. Like, parties that these kids would throw. Also, they were so talented and so lovely and a really good vibe to be around. And I went, I want to be their friends. I want to be in this world. So in order for me to be in this world, I need to work on my work hard ethic. I had the party hard ethic down pat. But
that just naturally grows, doesn't it? That one, it's sort of it'd be nice if everything important grew as well as that did.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I had to work hard. So I took a bunch of singing lessons, acting lessons, dance classes, and worked really hard to get into the industry. And I saw some shows on the West End in 2006 on a European holiday, and realized that musicals aren't all Rodgers and Hammerstein and Stephen Sondheim. That there are actual new musicals with like rock music and pop music. And I went, that's me. That's my voice type. So I auditioned for Wicked. It took me like 4 goes, and then I got the gig, and then sort of put me on my path. Yeah. In fact, I celebrate it. It's the only day really that I celebrate every year as a proper holiday. Not a holiday for me, but like birthdays, Christmas. They are just what they are. They're good catch ups with friends. But February 2nd was the day that I booked Wicked. Yeah, and it's the day that really changed my life. Was beginning for good. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's a great story, mate. Because that was huge. Wicked went for a long, long time too, didn't it?
Yeah, I did that for 2 years. 8 shows a week for 2 years.
8 shows a week for 2 years. That's solid, mate. Wow. Credit to you for that, bro.
In our gigs, we sing like 20 songs a night.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Pub back in the day, we were singing 30, 40 songs a night.
Yeah, I
and
do.
then another encore set.
3 hours.
I'll give you an extra couple $100.
Yeah.
Can you do another set?
Yeah, 4-hour sets we used to do. We'd have 40 odd songs.
Yeah. So I'm used to doing that. And in a musical, 2-3 songs.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, for sure. It was like that was the same with War of the Worlds when I did the War of the Worlds tour of Australia, and then Great Britain was the same. It was 15 minutes, you're on, and then wait half an hour, and then another 10 minutes, and that was it.
Did you love it though? Like, there's something about the camaraderie. Did you enjoy that sort of family vibe to it?
Yeah, most definitely, mate. We all got on really, really well, and everyone just got to know each other so really well because you're in each other's pockets the whole time, travel together. 8 not slept together, but 8. You know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
8.
Sometimes that happens. Sometimes that happens.
Sometimes that happens too, I suppose. But yeah. So you're just with each other the whole time, whether it be for months beforehand, before the show starts. Rehearsal every day, you know what I mean? And you sort of go and have lunch together and all that sort of stuff. So you're sort of in each other's pockets so much. So it's hard not to get to know each other, so well. So there is a great part of that sort of thing because you got friends because everyone becomes friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So, mate, also acting. You had a bit of a go on, or you were there for a while too on Neighbours. How was that? What was that like?
Yeah, that came about. Had an audition for Neighbours. Actually, I was auditioning for Dancing with the Stars for the host a few years back, and had this really great rapport with Eddie Bartholomew. And I thought, I bloody nailed that. I think I'm going to get this job. So the next day, I had an audition for Neighbours, and I bumped into Eddie's agent, and he was like, "Eddie loves you. I think it's a done deal." Well, I was like, "Great." So then I walked straight into this audition after seeing him, and thought, if I get Neighbours, I get it. If I don't get it, I've already got a job lined up. Yeah. So I was super there's something about going into auditions, where you're relaxed, not worrying so much about the need for the work, but just doing the work that was on the paper. You've already done I learnt the script, and so I did all that and ended up getting that, and then Dancing with the Stars fell over, so that's fine. So I ended up doing Neighbours. So it was going to be a 3 or 4 month run, and then they loved the character so much they kept writing him back in over the years. So every couple of months I would go back and do another couple of months, and then they said, "Do you want to come and do like full time?" I was like, "Sure." Yeah. So I did it for a year. They wanted me to do for 2 years, but I was like, "Oh no, it's okay." Looking back, I was like, "That was the COVID year, 2020. I should have stayed." Yeah. But it was the best experience. Like, you are baptism by fire. You literally you have to learn. Sometimes you're doing 20, 30 scenes a day. Yeah. Wow. Sometimes but then other weeks you might have 1 or 2 scenes a day. So like sort of ebbs and flows, but the experience that you get about learning scenes really fast and about committing to your story or to your character. And also it's a dream to be working with people like Alan Fletcher and Jackie Woodburn and Ryan Maloney. They're just awesome humans. And yeah, and I got to work with my mate Bonnie Anderson, and she's just a real delight.
Yeah,
she's
she's
always
great.
Every time there was a cut, she's like singing, just singing songs. What a voice.
Yeah,
What a legend,
she's an amazing talent. Yeah, congratulations to her. I think she had a little baby.
Yeah,
Young
mate,
Bonnie.
absolutely.
That's amazing
Yeah,
stuff.
well done, Bon.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, mate, it was the best. And also to be painted as the villain, I was like the greatest villain that Erinsborough has ever seen. They wrote a 5-part special for my character called Fire Island, or Neighbours Endgame, I think it was called in the end, where I killed off one of the characters with a bow and arrow, and I also tried to kill Toadie with a rock.
Toadie.
Yeah, man. And then I tried to bury Susan Kennedy in the.
Oh, crikey! That's
gold. It was huge, mate. It was peak soap for Finn Kelly, who ended up dying in his own grave.
Oh, that's gold. Oh, mate, yeah, awesome. So, and then you hosted the Young Talents on Revival as well.
Yeah, that was great. 2012, mate. I just loved it. Dicko was involved in that. We had a great time with Dicko. Had a great time with Tina Arena was involved, but the kids were so good. I think the network kind of got it wrong a little bit with trying to rush it before it knew what it was. I would have really loved to have seen a bit more interaction with the kids, with the team that we picked out, just to get to know them a bit more throughout. They turned it into more of a competition style show for kids, which I thought was okay, but I think it would have been better if it was, let's get to know these kids. Let's really build them up. Let's build up this network of children's entertainers or performers. Because they're so talented. A lot of them are still performing now, whether it's acting or I saw Lyndall's she's on a cruise ship. George is hosting TV. I saw Tia the other day. She's in a band, a corporate band. So they're all still performing, and it's amazing to see.
Did you finish with All My Loving Johnny Young style as well?
Yeah, we did, but not every episode. I think we just finished on a couple of the episodes. It was really lovely to get the blessing from Johnny Young though, to say I could be the one to say goodnight Australia.
That's great. Yeah, I think
he's such a lovely guy. It's a great concept, like showcasing these extremely talented kids, but also not getting too intrusive into their lives or whatever as well. Yeah. So I thought it was really wholesome, fun. The kids, as I said, their performances, Shan, as far as our dancing, they're absolutely shattering.
That's not real hard, though. Well, speaking of Johnny Young, I think he gave me a shocking bagging during the show, but everyone had their 2 cents back in them days.
Did he give you?
Yeah. Give me a surf about something. I can't even remember, but it was not a chance.
Probably about your dancing.
No doubt. Well, that was a free shot from there, but it was a singing competition, not a freaking dancing competition.
I thought you had a beautiful voice. Still
thank
do.
You, mate. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it, mate. Absolutely, mate. Now, recently released a book, putting on a show. How did that come about?
So I wrote an article during lockdown. A few of my friends actually had passed away, both to cancer. And during lockdown, didn't really drink with my partner. But then, as soon as the lockdown here in Melbourne, they sort of lifted. Went out drinking with friends, caught up, catch ups, and I felt pretty horrible. I was like, what is that feeling? I go, oh, it's grief. You haven't dealt with the grief.
Yeah.
And alcohol doesn't really help that. It just masks it.
Yeah.
So I wrote about that. I wrote about this sort of the languishing that we've all felt, the fact that we can turn to alcohol or gaming or gambling, whatever it is. And then a publisher read the article, said they really liked it, and said, would you like to write a bit more about this? So I decided to tap into what it is to be an Aussie man. I wanted to find out what are the things that drive us. Who are the modern day archetypes of Aussie men?
Yep.
Like we can really, if you're in the 60s or 70s, there's really strong archetypes of the Jackie Howe wearing sheep shearing bloke.
Yep.
There's the beach blonde Bondi surfer bloke.
Yep.
But who is that guy now? I mean, you kind of are still one of those blokes. But I don't relate to any of them.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not a suit wearing 9 to 5 kind of guy. So anyway, I interviewed a bunch of people about what it is to be an Aussie man, and it was really super enlightening. So there's a bunch of research. There was a bunch of as I said, these interviews and great conversations I had with people like Dr. Pat McGorry, Professor Jane Perkis, Jamila Rizvi, Kirk Docker, who started You Can't Ask That. Georgia Grace is a sexologist. We talked about gender norms and gender norms in the bedroom. It's really fascinating. It was really eye-opening, and I learned so much. And the aim for the book was kind of like Lee Sales' Any Ordinary Day, where she interviews people and she reflects on her own life from that.
Yeah.
So I wanted the reader to learn along with me. Yep. So as I'm learning, I want the reader to learn alongside me. So I think I've had some really good feedback from a lot of people. One of them the other day was a young 22-year-old oil. He works on an oil rig. He's like, Millsy, just wanted to reach out and say, I'm reading your book. I'm around a lot of blokes, like technical, like blokes.
Yep.
And I'm also feeling that I don't quite fit in this sort of bloke world. It's really nice to know that that you also feel the same, and that there's a lot of people feeling this sort of way, trying to work out what this sort of modern day bloke is.
And that's
it's
okay.
really helped.
Okay.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And exactly, that's
like
fine.
That. Yeah.
It was really lovely. It was a great message, and I've been getting a lot of really good feedback. And also the aim of it is just to keep conversations going. Whether it's to do with mental health or whether it's just to do with just listening to your partner or having better chats with your mate.
Yep.
So you're actually connecting with them.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. I think that's great. Like I've similar situation with the feedback I've received about Lift over the years. You know how it's just like people through a dark patch. So putting on a show, guys. If anyone wants to go and find that book of Millsy's, who can relate to what we just said, then dive out and grab a copy and have a read, mate. So there was you talk about the wild days in the book. How wild were some of the days?
Oh, look,
I can't remember.
That's like literally, like I reckon I've got a blackout period of like 4 years where I don't actually remember, like, because we were just going from gig to gig or nightclub appearance to appearance. I'm sure you're the same, mate. Like as soon as we sort of finished Idol, you were in the studio putting an album together. I was doing the same. I was doing these nightclub appearances, and if I wasn't doing that, I was in the studio writing, working on new songs. You were out touring.
Yeah,
and same, like putting a band together and starting to tour the country. I don't think I was too wild. Like, I think most of my wild days really happened when I was like, just pre-Idol, just post it. But I think that period of my life, trying to work out who I am as a person and realize that you can meet a lot of people through alcohol, but you don't really have great connections. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. It's most of the time you can't remember it.
It's not very helpful. But look, I think that's just the rite of passage. It's a weird thing in Australia. Like we don't really have this rite of passage to manhood in Australia.
Yeah.
It's you get given a yard glass when you turn 18, you're told to neck it. You're like, oh, okay, cool. So my rite of passage to be a man is to get shit faced. It's a really weird thing. I think it's changing. I would like to think that it's changing, but I don't think we need to have a full blown African ritual where we go out into the bush and have to like survive for a couple of days on. But maybe there is something like that for Aussie men. I don't know what it is, but I think it needs to be something that doesn't involve so much alcohol into your manhood, but I don't know what that is yet, but I'm hoping we find it soon enough.
Yeah. So with obviously managing mental health, what are a couple of things a bit of advice that you could give people on fitness or or just meditating or anything like that you found beneficial?
Mate, for me it's exercise. Like you're just natural endorphins when you go into a HIIT workout or go for a run or even a walk, mate. Even a walk through nature, I think is awesome. Yeah, a walk and a coffee with a mate, excellent, so good. Get a bit of banter, have a bit of a laugh.
Yep.
Get your stuff out. If you can't get your stuff out with a friend, journaling really helps me if I'm ever in a bit of a pickle or I feel like I haven't got enough. I don't know. There's too many thoughts in my head. If I just stream of consciousness, literally just set a timer for 5 minutes or 10 minutes and just write. Yeah. And then whatever's in your head, I'm feeling like this today. I can't believe I'm feeling like this. Oh, why are you judging yourself? Well, I'm feeling pretty good already. Like whatever it is.
Yeah, cool.
Like my missus is really pissing me off. Like whatever it is, like just get it out of your head.
Yeah.
And also therapy is awesome. I've been seeing my therapist now for a couple of years. I made a pact that I would walk the walk or talk the talk. By writing the book, I talk about seeing my therapist, but instead of waiting like 3 or 4 months and going, I should really see my therapist, I just booked it in.
Yeah.
So the start of every month, I see my therapist. I'm seeing you next week.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the first or second week of every month I see him, and he's on Skype. So it doesn't matter where I am or where he is.
Yeah,
we can get to each other.
Yep.
And it's, let's just say like you having a bad month, and you can just offload all that stuff. He helps me work out why that is, or give me some tools in order to have better conversation with my friends or about my work or business or partner or whatever it is. And if it's a good month, let's talk about why it's good. And let's work out how you can do more of that. So then next month it's not bad. And it's never, as I said, it's never dire. There's a weird sort of stigma still attached, I think, to therapy where, oh, I'm not a crazy person, I don't need to see a therapist. Well, it's not. You go see a physio when you've got a sore hamstring.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the same thing. It's a sore muscle that you're not an expert. I'm not an expert.
No.
And your partner's not an expert at this stuff. Why not go see an expert?
In the book, in terms of, we talk about your wild days, you mention some fun you had with Courtney Act and a few other people. Now, Courtney was outraged about what you said, not because you detailed the experience at the time, but that you referred to a threesome as an orgy.
I learned a very, very, very valuable lesson. That a threesome is not an orgy. Orgy is more than 3. So there we go.
Right. I didn't know that either, mate.
Yeah, which I think, which I've learned, and I'm sorry that I've never been involved in an orgy with Courtney Axe, because that would be excellent. That would be amazing. That would be amazing. It's weird. It's weird. There was something about that being in the book and talking about it, and the sort of fear, the stigma attached around homosexuality or sexual fluidity. When we were growing up, or when I was growing up, I was also always so fearful of what would people think of me. And I've got a lot of mates who are in theatre that think about this stuff. And I talked to someone about this the other day on a podcast, and they're talking about when you're a kid, you are encouraged by your parents to try different sports, different things that you like. There is like badminton, footy, netball, cricket, swimming, gymnastics, like whatever it is, like your parents, try this, try that, dancing, whatever it's. But when it comes to people, it's why is there a weird stigma attached to just working out what it is that you like? I was like, that's a really great way of looking at it. So when you are younger, or a younger person, or even an older person, who cares? Who really cares what you're trying out or what you're into?
It's nobody else's business, really, is it?
No one else's business, but also it doesn't define you as a person. Like, surely what defines you is if you're a good person, a kind person, a compassionate person, empathetic, or a good member of society. So I put it all in the book because I wanted more young men or women even to just read this and go, oh, it doesn't matter. And what I found even from having the book, it's not a scandal, and I didn't put it in there to be a scandal. I put it in there to normalize it, so that more people are just like, oh yeah, who it's not even a thing. And also, I honestly, I do have a beautiful, wonderful connection with Shane, with Courtney,
and
have done for years.
Amazingly talented person, isn't he?
Talented person, but sexy, beautiful, all these things. And I was
a
like,
very beautiful woman.
Oh yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna try that out.
I remember during the show because I sort of worked him out pretty quick, but a lot of the other guys were a bit confused because he had the best legs out of anyone on the whole show. And a couple of young blokes there, because he'd love it, you know what I mean, just playing his character, you know what I mean, and a couple of young blokes hadn't worked it out, sort of thing, and it was very, very funny sort of to watch, you know.
I remember saying to Shane early on, I'm like, this is back in the day of like Ali G. I remember saying to him, your character is as good as
absolutely
Ali G.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny and raw and authentic, and just incredible performer, and also testament to his talent.
Oh, mate, but being able to read the situation and capitalise on it in any way within his character was just fabulous, amazing. Because nobody really ever seen him as Shane, and when they did, they didn't put it together that it was also Courtney, because I think he auditioned as Shane and Courtney during the show, didn't he? So he went in there as Shane and auditioned as himself, and then was Courtney as well. So heaps of people didn't. They thought they were just two different people. It was amazing.
Incredible talent. I'm still spewing that Courtney beat me on Dancing with the Stars last year, but that's okay. Like, that's much better dancer. Once again, not a good dancer.
Yeah, mate, you dance a lot better than I am. Don't worry about that. I wouldn't beat yourself up too much, mate, because you got to have two left feet. Oh, I had two left feet when I was on Dancing with the Stars, anyway. So, but I, not luckily, but had to be removed through injury, which wasn't.
Did you?
Yeah, I had a back operation halfway through the show. I did.
So I should laugh. I should.
I
remember you had a pretty terrible back.
Yeah, I split a disc, tore the lining of a disc, and the disc, the fluid that's in the disc, the gel sort of stuff squashed out into my spinal cavity, and then as soon as it hits your spinal fluid, it calcifies, so it turns to sort of hard bone. So it wasn't very, very good, but I wasn't enjoying it either. But because I didn't get I was supposed to get another partner. And we happened to move down to Melbourne, and there's
good tradesman doesn't blame his tools.
No, exactly right. Well, she had every right to blame me for the lack of success we had on the show, because I was hopeless. I was constantly going, no, it'll click. It's just got to click at some stage, and it just wasn't clicking.
I can't wait to go back and just YouTube your dance moves on Dancing with the Stars. This is going to be good for a lull. This is going to be great for a lull.
Yeah, well, that'll pick you up, mate. Whenever you're feeling blue.
You can do the same with a couple of my Idol performances.
I watched a couple back of mine the other day, and because I've never watched them back. I just went, I'll pick myself to pieces because I'm hopeless. Yep. Very, very hard on myself when it comes to that sort of thing, performance-wise and all that. I always want to sing to the very best that I know I can. And I knew that there'd be things that I'd pick up on and go, that was terrible, you know.
Yeah, we're our own harshest critic, yeah.
Yeah, but I watched a couple back and I was quite surprised a little bit. I mean, there was some... I felt like Elvis at one stage because I was doing New York, and they didn't film me. They only filmed me from the waist up. And I had all of these really awkward sort of leg kick moments that actually came off. And because they weren't filming me full body, we missed them. Totally different example of what they were doing with Elvis, but similar.
I reckon your brother was in the director's booth going, shoot him from the waist up.
Shoot him from the waist up, don't Oh, no doubt. Oh, crikey. So, mate,
I missed the swing week. I went out R&B week, and also I just chose some really bad songs in that week. But I think the following week was swing big band, and I've done so much swing big band in the last sort of 10, 15 years of my life, especially the last 10 years, and I love it so much. Grew up with all that Sinatra and stuff. I remember going,
No, it was going to be my time. My week was coming.
Maybe I should have chosen a duet to sing as an R&B song. Like, why'd you choose a duet? It's only one of you idiot.
Yeah. You got to paint your face. Remember that dude who was both characters, and he'd sing like that. It was amazing, that dude, for sure. Oh, so mate, what are you most comfortable doing? Writing, performing, hosting on TV, or?
Oh, mate, I remember straight after Idol, someone asked me what I would most likely do, and I just said, I still want to just do it all. I just love performing. I love storytelling. I do love this show that I'm in at the moment. It's a great love story, or love stories, I should say. There's many love stories throughout it. There's something really wonderful about musical theatre when it there's a lot of bad musical theatre, but this one, when it gets it right, really gets it right.
Yep.
You've got all the forms of storytelling. You've got singing, you've got dancing, you've got acting, and you've got all this beautiful music and stagecraft as well that goes with it. Mate, anything that sort of comes my way. I'm a bit of a yes and kind of guy. I've gotten better at saying no to things that don't quite suit who I am or what I stand for. But as far as entertainment, I just want to keep doing it all. I love it. I love doing a gig. I love doing a gig with other people. I think I much prefer doing gigs with other people. There's something about being a musical. It reminds me of being in a footy team where every show that I'm in, sometimes you're the full forward, sometimes you're the back pocket, but it doesn't matter. You're still part of the part of the team.
Yeah.
Even if I'm running drinks, I like being part of the team.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was telling someone the other day about the 1%ers. They're like, "What are the 1%ers?" I'm like, "Look, in a show, it's probably just it's a look. Like in a show, it's kind of like maybe it's a look at the lead just to make sure that they're there. You know, like in footy, it's a shepherd, it's a bump, it's a smother.
Yep.
But I like the 1%ers in theatre as well. It's the little extra stuff that you do for the show.
Yeah, that bit of acknowledgement can be anything like that, can't it? To really put some wind under your sails and keep you on the front foot.
Yeah, the high fives, the bump hats, all that sort of stuff. Love it. With consent,
With consent, of course. Have you got a question, Tim?
You're a big Hawks fan, Millsy. How do you think they're going to go in 2023?
Look, I think we need to stop the drought. It's been a few years since we've had a three-peat, so definitely stop the drought for the Hawks.
Yeah, that's a terrible thing.
We're not looking. Look, I think it's officially. I think officially we have the youngest list ever this year, which is pretty exciting. We lost a few old blokes, McAvoy, Burgoyne the year before. There's a few old blokes that have gone. We've got new captain in James Sicily, who I love. He reminds me of a Richie Vandenberg type. He's tough. He'll punch people. Like
great. Yeah.
I reckon he'll probably sit a few games out, but he'll definitely
let him know he's there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's one of the best. But yeah, Sammy Mitchell, what a legend. What an absolute legend of the game to have him as coach. We'll see how we go. We'll just blood a few young players and hopefully we'll be all right.
Yeah. Oh, cool. I think
I'm just spewing. The one of the worst things about being in the theatre is I can get to 2 games this year. They're both on Mondays. So.
Oh, yeah, of course. That's the hard thing about a lot of it too. Doing sort of working on the weekends and gigging and that sort of stuff. You don't get to watch a lot of footy either. It's always repeats, so you never really get to watch it with especially mates who are supporters of the same club or anything like that. Yeah. You sort of have to watch it on your phone somewhere in between takes or in between sound check and having dinner to say you're ready for the show later on. It's a little bit annoying. I miss a lot of the footy during the season because of that. Because I mean, when you get home too, you're sort of catching up on being away and that sort of thing as well. So you don't really have a lot of time.
Being a dad.
Yeah.
Still got to be a dad. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely. So you don't get a lot of time to. Especially, I'm just going to sit down and catch up on the footy, So that's always been a little bit frustrating. Because even if, you'll be playing kicking off at 10 o'clock at night, the game's, at 8, but you're in the shower getting ready or whatever, trying to watch bits and pieces. But I've been carving out a bit more time over the last couple of years to watch it now. The boys are a bit older with Cody and Blake being 19 and 20 and 21 now, so...
And they're going pretty well?
Yeah, they're playing, had their first year of seniors last year, so... They got amongst it. Blakey won a few best on grounds and Code did too, so in the seniors team. So I was really, really happy about that. They missed out in the finals. They were minor premiers, but then missed out in the grand final. So hopefully they'll learn from that and get a bit better this year. But gee, it's been fun going to watch them. I've realised I've turned into my dad. God bloody on the sideline. I think I give it to the refs last year, and I can't confirm it was me, but someone got a 50-metre penalty and kicked the goal, and they lost by 4 points. So I don't think it was anything I did. I'm pretty sure it wasn't anyway. I'm hoping it wasn't.
Your Honour. Your
Honour.
Suddenly the Daily Mail will beat your games now, mate.
Yeah.
I've got a break.
Footy's about passion.
Mate, when I've got a break, I'll definitely come up and see. I'll have to come up and see the game.
Absolutely, buddy. Yeah, they love it, mate. So you've played a lot of footy growing up as well, mate. So how old were you when you sort of started going? Well, I'm probably better at singing and performing than I am at football, because you're a pretty capable athlete as well. You do most things well, cricket as well, don't you?
Yeah, I played cricket all through juniors and played footy. We won our grand final in under-18s. It was my first time I'd made a grand final, and we won it at Waverley Park under lights on a Friday night.
Yep.
I kicked 2 behinds, very, Very important, 2 behinds. We won by 10 goals. But very important.
Camaraderie builders.
Yeah. I loved it. I still love it now. I didn't play seniors. My dad said to me, he goes, look, you sing every weekend on at the pubs. What if you get injured on a Saturday during the game and then you can't sing at night time? He goes, it's kind of your income these days. So I said, all right, fair enough. He goes, if you want to do it, this is the sort of the decision you got to make. So I made the decision then and didn't play seniors, but just I've been kicking the footy ever since. There's a bunch of blokes that get together on a Sunday morning in Melbourne and also in Sydney called the Bangers, the Bang Football Club, and they just do circle work and it's just the best.
Yeah,
mate, for me.
absolutely.
I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, we talked about that last time. I was thinking about, because I obviously got a shocking knee from a fence altercation on a motorbike. But I was starting to kick the footy with the boys a little bit more too, and it just sort of blew that left knee out. So, but I got told about the Bangers, and I've always meant to try and get in there in Sydney for just a kick, because they say you're a long time not playing footy, you know what I mean, and you grow up loving it, and that's sort of a thing that just have that little bit of a taste of it again with the pigskin in your hands, mate. It's a great feeling, you know what I mean? Absolutely,
it's the best. I love it. I love having a kick, and I love every now and again, something you might miss a mark or you might drop a handball or something, and just hearing in the distance someone yelling out, "You better!"
Absolutely.
It's the best. Like, I am better than that. Or I was better than that.
Well, mate,
but I still love the footy.
Yeah, it's all coming for you, mate. I lead out now and try and do. I actually had a game last year, so I kicked.
How'd you go?
Yeah, I kicked the goal and tackled a bloke and nearly broke my shoulder off. I think I was paying for that. So I think I tore my rotator cuff. So, but it was a game with both my sons and my nephew. We all played a game of Reese's together. So we can say we all had a game of footy together. I don't think I'll have to be running back doing it again soon because, I was at the physio pretty frequently after that for the next couple of weeks. But it was so much fun, even just before the game, getting ready with the boys and all that sort of stuff. And I think I asked the guy to strap my knee, and he went, "Is that what you call that thing?" I said, "Well, what? It used to be a knee. It doesn't look like one now, but it used to be." Mate, so if there was an AFL musical, who would you play?
Look, you'd have to put in the great musical theatre performer himself, Shane Crawford.
Yeah, absolutely. Great pick. Yeah, for sure. 100%. That'd be.
Mate, I'd love to if there was an AFL musical. I think that would be hilarious. Maybe that's something for me to. There's so many great stories that have come through AFL over the years. The rags to riches kind of story.
Absolutely.
I'll definitely think about that.
Yeah.
There's one thing I notice sometimes watching TV. There's Aussie shows that come out with AFL. With an AFL storyline, and they get actors who can't kick a footy.
Yes.
So not like
I know. It's aggravating, isn't it?
That's like the key bit to it, isn't it? Like, obviously they've got to be a good actor, but like if you're going to show scenes of them kicking the footy, or like playing a game, and they're like meant to be elite.
Yeah. The authenticity just goes straight out the window then, and you lose the the concentration of most people watching. Oh, he can't even kick the bloody thing.
You lose the blokes. You definitely lose the blokes.
Absolutely.
And also, there's a lot of the women who love footy, love sport. They're like, well, that's crap.
Yeah, absolutely. I did just a thing when I was living in Sydney, up there playing footy. Actually, and it was to play roles as extras, Heartbreak High and things like that. But being actual competent sportsmen.
Oh, so mate, that'd be amazing.
I listed all the things that I'd done because that tally with the same 5 people with the football team, the cricket team, the volleyball team. We just any team we could get on just to get a day off school. You know what I mean? So I had a fair few credentials. So I ended up getting a little bit of a gig in the background playing basketball on Heartbreak High, which was pretty cool. But I totally get that. They've got to have if we're going to do this AFL thing, we've got to get people who can actually roost it, son. Roost it.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. At least bounce the ball or something anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, mate, so just to recap, you got your book that's out.
Yeah, and Juliet, the musical is we're open now, or opening next Thursday.
In Melbourne.
On the 9th of March, in Melbourne.
Yep.
I think it's going to tour At this stage, it's just selling in Melbourne, which is excellent. It's selling like we've already sold out the preview weeks, which is just insane.
Yep.
For a show to be so successful already.
Yeah. So who else is in the show?
Casey Donovan, fellow Idol alumni.
Yeah.
Hayden T, who was Javert in Les Mis. He's incredibly funny and incredible voice. A bunch of young kids, sort of a super diverse cast. I love this cast, but my friend Amy La Palma, who I used to live with, she's been in shows like School of Rock, Rock of Ages. She was Maria in The Sound of Music. She plays my wife in the show. She's fantastic. The whole cast, mate, is incredible. This young girl, Lorinda, who's playing Juliet, is an absolute pop superstar. Her voice is something to be revered, mate. She's a goddamn star. So's Blake, who plays Romeo. Both of them absolute stars and worth the price of admission.
Yeah, sure. Cool. We'll get on along and see that, guys. And check out, I'd say on the internet to when and where shows will be played, and if it's coming to your city, which will be great. Well, good luck with it all, buddy. Thank you so much, mate, for coming on Idle Talking with Nollsie. It's great just to see your face, bud. We don't get to catch up enough, and especially there's probably a handful of times over the last 20 years. It's all gone pretty quick, but that means we're all busy, so it's good. So good luck with it all, brother. And thank you so much again, mate. Love you too. Really appreciate it.
I'll pop up soon. See you, mate.
Will do, mate.
Soon.
Thanks, buddy. See you, mate. Well, thanks very much, guys, for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please like and follow this podcast on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts, and give it a rating. I'm told that helps. We look forward to your company on next episode. See you later, guys.